that I think we need to be very, very clear about what the definition of woke is. And wouldn't you know it, I wrote a whole effing book about this. I wrote a book about this. It's called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against the woke insanity in your life. I have been doing deep dives and analysis on the far left for over 3 years. I was doing DEI training and critical race theory stuff before that. I have been one of the longest lasting, quote unquote, anti-woke activists in this entire space. I have seen so many people come and go. I've seen people be lifted up. I've seen people be canceled. I have stood the test of time in this space where many other people haven't, because I built an independent outlet. I built out all my stuff independently, where I'm grassroots funded. I don't report to any major organization. So I may not be the biggest name in the game, because you have to play within the game that Conservative Inc. wants you to play if you get lifted up and exposed to a massive audience. That's how I got exposed to an audience in 2020. I just didn't realize I was playing in a game at the time. After I realized I was playing in a game, I built my own independent platform that I still utilize today. So I have more than a little bit of street cred in this area. I've been in this business a long fucking time. I've lasted when a lot of people haven't. I am very, 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 very lucky to have a base of grassroots support that allows me to say whatever I want on the internet. And my only job is to tell people the truth, showing them receipts. So I want to talk about what the definition of woke is. And I think I have done more than enough to earn the ability to have this opinion. So I posted this article on my Better Discourses Substack, which is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. You can find it for free on the homepage if you would like to follow along. It's super short. I just want to tell you what it says, though. The definition of woke. There's a lot of chatter these days about what woke really means. Does it apply only to the left? Or does it describe behavior on the right, too? Let's cut through the noise and get to the point. Here is the definition of woke. People who demand conformity and try to force assimilation to their groupthink through gaslighting, want to dictate what words you're allowed to say and what ideas you can consider, and shame you the moment you step outside their narrow, allowable box of opinion. This is the definition of woke. I used to simplify it by saying woke means authoritarian. In fact, that's the definition you will find in my last book, Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against the woke insanity in your life. I used to just say woke means authoritarian. But, well, it's still partly true, it's not the full picture. And we need greater precision. Essentially, the realization that I've come to in the past couple weeks is not that woke is not authoritarian, because it is, but we need to be more specific about what that actually means. Because if you just throw out a general term, people can interpret that to mean whatever they want it to mean, or more importantly, whatever they need it to mean in order to put one over on their enemies, pull a political gag, build a narrative, do whatever they want. So we have to be much more specific about what the definition actually means. This evolved definition isn't about mind reading or guessing someone's inner beliefs. It's about observable behaviors. What matters is what they do, not what we assume they're thinking. And this is really important, because Logan Lansing, who's one of James Lindsay's partners in crime, Logan Lansing is running around going, woke is achieving critical consciousness. How do you know if someone's achieved critical consciousness? Are you a mind reader? What does that even mean? What does that mean in terms of observable behaviors? Or are you insinuating that you can see inside someone's head? And so that's the reason that we need to really focus on how this manifests itself externally. Because when you're running around saying that woke is just about achieving critical consciousness, you are assuming that you know what's going on inside someone's head. And I don't know, that sounds a little Gnostic to me. That seems a little Gnostic to assume that you know what's going on inside someone's head, Logan. So I made a definition based on observable behaviors. And I want to prove to you that this applies to both the woke left and the woke right. The woke left demands conformity to a Marxist collectivist ideology. They gaslight people into assimilation, shaming and attacking anyone who strays outside their approved narrative. Can we all get on board that the woke left does that? They want everyone to be collectivist. They want everyone to be Marxist. If you don't agree to it, first they try to gaslight you to make you come a little bit more willingly. If they can't get you by gaslighting you, they shame you, they shun you, they do all those things if you step outside the approved narrative. I think we can all agree that the woke left does that in spades. The woke right demands conformity to a classically liberal, pro-Israel ideology. They gaslight people into submission, insisting that their unconditional support for Israel is non-negotiable. Anyone who dissents is gatekept, shamed, and silenced. That is exactly how James Lindsay has defined the woke right. We have listened to multiple interviews James has done. We have listened to his podcast. We have looked at his Twitter. James has two consistent variables that he believes make someone part of the woke right. The first variable is that you do not agree to a classically liberal ideology. The second variable is that you do not support Israel. If you aren't a classical liberal and you don't unequivocally bend the knee to everything Israel says and does, then you are considered to be the woke right according to James Lindsay. So this is also about gaslighting people into submission. It's also about insisting that people have a certain worldview, a certain perspective. And if you don't like that perspective, you are mocked, you are shunned, you are gatekept, you are silenced. They try to do everything they can to demonize you by calling you woke right in the first place. The woke left and the woke right act in exactly the same way. They just do it based on whatever their belief systems are. Both the woke left and the woke right are un-American. This is profoundly anti-American. Their behaviors demanding conformity, punishing dissent, and suppressing free thought are fundamentally at odds with the principles that this country was built on. The woke left aims to overthrow the Constitution and replace it with a Marxist society, claiming that capitalism, the Constitution, and the American way of life are all inherently oppressive. We see them say this all the time. They call the Constitution the capitalist Constitution. They call the U.S. government the capitalist U.S. government. We have them on video saying multiple times they want to overthrow the U.S. government. It's profoundly un-American. The woke right adheres to an Israel-first agenda that puts America second, demanding loyalty to foreign interests over our own nation. Now listen. I personally don't care if you support Israel. I really don't. I don't care if you support Israel. I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't care about your politics. It makes no difference to me. But saying that I have to support Israel or I am persona non grata and part of the woke right, that doesn't sit well with me either. You want to know why? Because I'm an American. I'm not an Israeli. I don't believe in foreign aid at all for any country. I certainly don't agree with it to go fight Israel's wars. I don't think we have any business in the Middle East. I think we need to stay out of it. And for me to say that, even though I very clearly say, I don't care if you support Israel, you're allowed to do whatever you want. I absolutely have friends who support Israel. I have friends that go over to Israel on a regular basis. I have friends that are rabidly Zionist. I don't care what their beliefs are. As long as they don't want to control my beliefs and my ideas and my language and what videos I can watch. And if I want to watch a BitChute video about Hitler, I should be allowed to watch a BitChute video about Hitler. And if you don't agree with it and you don't want to watch it, then you don't have to. And guess what? Sometimes I watch BitChute videos about Hitler and I don't agree with them. What a concept. It's almost like we don't have to agree with all of the information that we choose to consume, and it doesn't make us woke just because we chose to watch a video that you yourself don't want to watch. This is America. I'm allowed to consider ideas. I'm allowed to consider controversial ideas. I'm allowed to consider offensive ideas. I'm allowed to say offensive things. I am allowed to tweet that fascism is the solution to communism when history proves that Hitler literally defeated communism in Germany prior to World War II using fascism. When communists are literally tweeting as communism was suppressed by fascism. Communists acknowledge who their enemy is. It is the fascists. They say it all the time. The antidote to Antifa is FA. Antifa means anti-fascist. They are telling you who their enemies are. And maybe, just maybe, even though you cannot like Hitler, and even though you can think he's the worst person in the history of the world, and even though you can say that 6,000,001 Jews died in the Holocaust, and that we've absolutely been told the truth in schools, you can say all of those things, but you also have to acknowledge that history is not just relevant when it adheres to the narrative that you want, and that it is not woke to acknowledge the truth, which is Hitler defeated communism in Germany prior to World War II, and that was why he was lifted up as Time Magazine's Man of the Year. And if we don't want to acknowledge this, then we are living in a post-truth fucking society, and then we really are all woke. You can say Hitler did bad things during World War II. You can also say that the truth of what happened leading up to World War II actually matters. And if you're willing to ignore one or the other of those things, then you're not an intellectually honest person. And I think we all can see over the past week that James Lindsay is anything but intellectually honest. And that is why we need to have a very clear definition of woke that is based on behavior, not based on what is going on in someone's head, because you are not a mind reader. You don't know. Again, the definition of woke that I'm going to put forward, that I'm going to advance, that I'm going to advocate for, you are woke if you demand conformity to try to force assimilation to your groupthink through gaslighting, wanting to dictate the words people are allowed to say, what ideas they can consider, and you shame them the moment they step outside of the narrow allowable box of opinion. It's the behaviors that matter. This is America. Every citizen has the right to express opinions and ideas without fear of cancellation, censorship, or social exile. That's why the First Amendment exists, to protect speech that offends people. If your words never upset anyone, you don't need protecting in the first place. The woke, left and right, want to control your thoughts. They want to police your words. They want to dictate your loyalties. They want to punish you if you resist. Their tactics are the same. Their behaviors are the same. Gaslight, shame, and if necessary, destroy. And if you do this, then you're woke. And it doesn't matter what side you're on, it's the behaviors that define you, and those behaviors are completely un-American. So that's my definition of the word woke. You can find this over on my Substack, which is Karlyn, Karlyn, .substack.com. I also did post it as an article on my Twitter feed. If you'd like to share this out with people, please feel free to do so. I really appreciate it. And if you want to support the work I'm doing, I am 100% completely funded by you. You can sign up for $8 a month, $80 a year, and that keeps me in business, guys. So I really, really do appreciate that.